Hello and welcome back to Asia Now. In this video, I'm going to tell you why would somebody pick the Philippines over places like Thailand or Vietnam. I'm going to read the question, read some people's answers to that question, and stick around till the end. I'm going to tell you guys my personal thoughts of why you might think of coming to the Philippines instead of those other countries. If you're new to the channel, before we get started, hit that subscribe button, hit that like button. Let's get into it. Today's question is, hey guys, quick question. Why would you travel to the Philippines instead of somewhere like Thailand or Indonesia? What has the Philippines got to offer? When would you go? And maybe is 1 or 2 weeks enough? Hotels, Airbnb, or living with a local? Best place to find English speakers to hang out with? Cheers. A whole bunch of questions to unpack. Don't worry, we're gonna get into every single one of those. Let's take a look at the first response as to why somebody might come here. Someone says, possibly the most Americanized country in the world. Legal and government systems based on US models. English is the official language, friendly people. I'm treated better than I deserve, and I try to give the same treatment and level of respect in return. I don't run the people or culture down as if I'm from some superior place, and try to do good deeds when I can. Okay, so this person mentioned something very important. The Philippines is very Americanized in the sense that everything is in English. So if you've never traveled outside of the US or any Western country, it is a very simple stepping stone to see Asia, but still have some resemblance, some ways being connected to the West, because it is a little bit stressful if you're traveling without knowing the language, right? Not knowing where to go, what to do, how to go ahead and do anything. And that connection between the US and the Philippines is very important for many people, especially if you're a little bit older, if you're thinking of retiring, if you don't want complications, basically, if you're not very adventurous right now in your stage of life, at least for those reasons, because the Philippines is very adventurous, don't get me wrong. My point is, it's a very easy way to like segue into maybe seeing the rest of Asia, or even have it like a second home or retire in the Philippines. Someone says, most Filipinos came from Americans and Spanish descent, while a lot of people still don't have idea about Philippines history. Americans had helped Filipinos when Spaniards colonized the Philippines, and then they governed the country, but because they want locals to be independent, so they turned over. Can't you see that most family names are almost the same to the family names of people from Mexico and Puerto Rico? Those countries are Spanish speakers. A lot of things you will know if you're not lazy to do research, and foreigners are treated well in the Philippines compared to other countries. Why need to always ask some questions which is only answerable use of common sense? I only read that comment because I cannot stand people like this on social media, on Facebook. Someone asks a basic question, and the first chance someone else gets to just jump on that person's back or try to bring them down. Why the hate? Why is this person so salty? Relax, bro. The man is asking a question maybe from people that have been there. He wants some information. Anybody can Google anything, but why would somebody watch this video, for example, or talk to people that actually live there or been there for first-hand experiences? So I cannot stand people like that. I dislike it a lot. I get what he's trying to say, but to be so condescending, I don't like it. Another person responds, best country in Asia for English speakers is the Philippines. Also, the sheer number of islands and beaches is astounding. Probably more beaches than any other country in the world, and of many types, and beautiful mountains too. Accommodations at all levels. The resorts are fun, but most are not upscale. Thailand's got great food, but actually the coastline is not as long, as there are only a few beaches compared to the Philippines. But if you want a lot of nightlife, Thailand might be better than the Philippines. Indonesia does have a lot of beaches, but it's more conservative society, being Muslim. Some great point made as well. You know, Thailand is great for food and maybe other stuff, but we're gonna get into that in a second. But the Philippines, the fact that it's got so many islands, it is incredible. I've been to many of the beaches myself, and I've barely covered the surface. The place is massive, huge. You could spend a lifetime trying to see all the beautiful places. And yeah, I agree. There's a lot of good things about the Philippines as far as the accommodation goes. You can find different, like obviously from 5-star resorts to very, very laid back local style with just a fan, right? So it does come down to you, your preference and your budget when choosing the Philippines. Someone said, I've just had the best experience in the Philippines. I've always said I love the people, and it's gone up another level. My wallet must have fallen out of my pocket last night in an e-trike because I got home and no wallet. However, this morning my neighbor gave me it back. The driver gave it to her, still had the money in it, and my bank card too. Great place. This brings us to the people of the Philippines. I have also lost my wallet twice, not once but twice. Once at the airport and once in Dumaguete. And both times the Filipinos were kind enough to return to me. I can't say the same for places like, I don't want to generalize the whole country, but I lost my wallet in the Chinese airport customs. It went in one end, didn't come out the other end, and I only noticed it when I was in a different country. And I couldn't figure out where my wallet went, and I remembered when I went through customs in China, they made me put that stuff in a tray and then they maybe put her back, they maybe take things out. There was a whole unnecessary process, and I couldn't figure out why. And at the time, I didn't care because I was trying to get to my connecting flight. But when I got to the Philippines, this was like my first time, a few years back, and I was just could not figure out where my wallet went, because I remember specifically what I did with it, put it inside. Then I remember, anyway, long story short, not every country, not every person is going to go ahead and return your wallet. I'm not saying every single Filipino person is going to return your wallet, but, you know, 2 out of 2 is pretty good for me. And this guy had his wallet returned as well. So the people of the Philippines is the #1 reason why many of us, at least myself, keep coming back to the Philippines. They are incredible. They're friendly. They're smiling. They can speak English. They have conversation with you, whether you know them, you don't know them, young, old, local, from a different island, whatever. They are just so happy, so eager to just talk to you, get to know you. You feel like a human in the Philippines. Like, it's one of those things that it sticks with you. And that's why when I do the street interviews on living abroad, you'll see that at least 95% of the people that are traveling to the Philippines always mention the kindness of the people of the Philippines. So yeah, a very good answer, and I definitely have to agree. Someone else says, I've been to Thailand a few times, and for me, Philippines is better. It's cheaper to live, easier to communicate because everyone speaks English. I find hospitality and respect is better. Could be because communication is easier. I don't really agree with the cheaper part. I feel like Thailand is cheaper, but that's just for my lifestyle. Of course, depending on if you have a family, if you're single, if you're living in a province, in a city, if you need internet, if you need stuff that I need for my daily life, I find Thailand to be about maybe 10 to 20% cheaper for my lifestyle. But for this guy, I don't know his situation. So for him, the Philippines is cheaper. Maybe he's eating much more locally. Maybe he's got a wife and a family he's got to feed. For me, it's just me. Anyways, but yeah, so those are the reasons. And you find deeper connections in the Philippines. I do agree with that because that English goes a lot further than a lot of people think. Now, I'm kind of like in between two minds right now because I see where people are saying that the English is very important. But if you're just someone that's maybe younger, that's just traveling, you can get by just fine in any country. But I think these are for people that want to stay in the Philippines a bit longer. They want to build some roots there. They want to have some more meaningful lifestyle, not just passing through for a month or two, a couple of weeks. So I think English does become a factor in the long run for these people, which I have to agree. Let's just read a couple more comments. I'll tell you guys my personal reasons why I would choose, or anybody should choose, the Philippines over those other countries. English is the second official language. Nearly everyone there speaks passively functional English, and many speak it well or better than the average American, Brit or Aussie. Filipino take great pride in education, and many are very literate in English. Language should be seldom a hurdle. Therefore, you can hang out with Filipinos without having to seek out Westerners who are not hard to find either in Manila or the major cities. A little harder in the provinces, which is where I suggest you go. The beaches are wonderful, and it tends to be cheaper by a lot in many non-tourist center areas. This person pretty much summarized everybody else's previous comments, but I can't really disagree with anything this person said. I don't know about being able to speak better than Americans and Aussies, because although English is a second language, they still have their mother tongue. They use commonly probably, and there's a lot of slang and innuendos and maybe words that are just not used in the Philippines. So they're really, of course, book smart, but I'm not going to agree with everything this person said. Regardless, language is not an issue, is what they're saying. Now for my personal reason as to why people choose the Philippines over those other countries like Thailand, Vietnam, or Indonesia. #1 for me, why I keep coming back, is 100% the people. I went over this earlier, but I just feel like when you're around a community that appreciates you, that welcomes you, that doesn't basically use you as, oh, just come spend your money and get out. I mean, they have a 3-year visa program for anyone that's coming from most Western countries. Think about that. You don't have to renew visa. Like, I mean, you have to, but my point is you can stay in the country for up to 3 years. One thing I don't like, obviously, because recently they've kind of removed that 6-month extension, it's become 2 months at a time. But still, the point is you don't have to get on a plane and fly to a neighboring country and come back, or just go to the immigration office only once. Thailand, Vietnam, those places usually can't stay more than 2, maximum 3 months. In the Philippines, that's a big bonus for people that want to stay there, that are not quite yet qualified to retire there. But long-term stays in the Philippines is very simple and easy. So that's one reason. The people is another reason. Cost of living, of course, is much better. Not really compared to Vietnam, because Vietnam, for me, was one of the most affordable places. But definitely places like Indonesia, if you want to go to Bali, that's expensive. The cost of living becomes a factor. I know for other people, the U.S. connection is massive because they can get their SSRV or whatever that is, the military money that they get monthly. I'm sorry, I'm not educated on that. But I think it's much simpler within the Philippines. So there's so many things. The islands that's been mentioned so many times. the snorkeling, the diving, the mountains. I haven't even been to Baguio yet, but I hear it's like cooler there. There are countless reasons, you know. I just can't think of everything all at once, but those are some of the reasons why somebody would actually stay in the Philippines over those other countries. I want to hear from you. Leave your comments down below. Let me know if you've been there. If you haven't been there, what is the draw for you? Why do you want to go to the Philippines? Why did you go there? Share your thoughts. If you take the time to write it, I'll take the time to respond. And if you enjoyed this video, hit that subscribe button, hit that like button. It really motivates me to keep making these videos. And I think that's it. I'll see you guys in the next video. Probably some news stuff. See you. Bye.